everybody. Welcome back to Dustin's Vinyl. Oh, my goodness. What a week, huh? It's been a crazy week. I don't want to get too crazy with what's happening in the world, but, I'm sure a lot of you are just kind of in a weird place. And hopefully today we can kind of distract you a little with, music and whatnot and talk about vinyl records, which I love so much. This week, I know a lot of you saw some of the crazy stuff on the news and the storming of the Capitol. And I think Jeff was there, actually. Were you wearing that furry hat? Was that you with the Viking thing? I think that might have been Jeff.
I'm not going to comment on that during this podcast right now.
Okay, so there's this guy who I thought was Jeff the whole time, my co-host, but apparently it's not. It's an out-of-work actor. And the only guy I think that can pull off the fur hat is this guy. And that's Ian Astbury from the Cult. I think he's the only one that could pull that look off. So let's stop storming the Capitol and let's start, mosh pitting again and get that vaccine out there so we can put that energy somewhere else. And that's what I feel is happening with all this crazy energy. People aren't, they aren't putting it in the right place. You got to, put it into rock and roll, put it into music. That's where I've always put my angst. We have a band today that we're going to bring up a little bit later that is all about that angst and when you don't, when you disagree with what's happening in the world, rock and roll is a good place to seek out because it takes you to another place and, you can put that energy there. So enough of the bullshit politics crap. I want to do my random pull today, which is arguably the greatest jazz album of all time. I've said that. Many people have said that. This is Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. This album is phenomenal. If you're not a jazz head, just become a jazz head because this is the album that you should probably. This is the starter kit for Miles Davis. If you don't know the work of Miles, I'm sure you heard the name. He's an amazing trumpet player. And the thing is, it's pretty easy if you know how to play guitar and make a guitar sound cool. It's pretty easy to make the drums sound cool, and even a saxophone. But to make a trumpet sound like modern rock, jazz, blues. He did everything with the trumpet. And this is a really cool album. So and so many people are on this album. You got Paul Chambers, John Coltrane is on this, Bill Evans. It's really just a phenomenal album. And one thing I think jazz is the greatest art form and the greatest music of all time is because a lot of it is impromptu. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the Traveling Wilburys and all the stuff. Jazz musicians have been doing that forever, where, they'll just get in a room and just go. And so that's what's great about jazz. If you're not into it yet, is just this, kind of spontaneity and improv that creates such great music. And there's a lot of improv on this album. A lot of guys just went in and did a jam session. So I recommend this album. If you get a chance, check it out. It's really an amazing album. And it was in 1959 this album came out, and it still holds up. It sounds better than any modern jazz I've heard in the past couple of years. And so Miles Davis is the dude and a true rock star, man. This guy lived a crazy life, and he's just a true rock star in every sense of the way. And the fact that he's carrying a trumpet makes him even cooler because it's very hard. But besides the flute, I think the flute is the other very difficult. Jethro Tull was able to pull off the cool flute noise, and then the other is the trumpet by Miles Davis. So I recommend this album. Is my random pick, and I hope that people get excited about Miles Davis. If you want to talk about Miles later in the show, we'll do Miles as well because I think he's really important to the next band that we're going to be bringing up. I think he's a strong influence. So, yeah, that's my random pull. So get you some Miles Davis. I love it. And so it's very exciting to be here and be doing the show with you guys on Twitch. I hope you guys are having fun taking a break from your video games and listening to us blab about vinyl and rock and roll and all kinds of music because we love it so much. And I bust balls with my co-host because he deserves it and he's a good dude and he knows all about music and he's been in the field of music for a long time and production and security and all kinds of stuff. And so, and he's a great comedian and everybody. Jeffrey Paul in the building. Hey. Come on, Jeffrey. What's up, buddy?
Happy New Year. This is our first show of the year, man.
Is it really? Oh, man.
First show of 2021.
That's good. And it went off, pretty bad. I couldn't see those pictures. So I guess you guys could see them. I couldn't see them.
No, we couldn't see them.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, as long as somebody saw them.
I'll wait for the post-production.
I was really excited. I was like, I got these pictures. It's going to be funny. And then nobody could see them. But good to see you, man. Happy New Year. This has been a crazy year already. I feel like it's, it's everybody was like 2020, man, I'm glad this is over. And then we start 2021 just like this is unbelievable.
Six days in, right? We didn't even get through a whole week.
It's really one of those crazy things, but I'm glad you're healthy and here we are. So who are we talking about today? What album are we pulling out today? What's going on?
All right. So today, man, we're going to talk about some guys that are from my neck of the woods. They're in my backyard. We're talking about the 1988 debut album by the band Living Colour.
Wow. Living Colour.
Vivid, man.
There it is.
This is a band of Vernon Reid on guitar, from Staten Island. Also, I mean, me and Vernon have a lot in common. We're from Staten Island. We both attended NYU. So it's me and Vernon Reid. You also got Corey Glover in there, who's the singer, but other people may remember him as Francis in the movie Platoon. He was the guy. Politics, man. Politics. That was Corey Glover. And I'll tell you a funny story about that. And Will Calhoun on drums. And Muzz Scullings was the bass player on this album. And then later on, Doug Wimbush replaces him. But this is, man, there's a lot of diversity in musical styles on this album. Debut album. This is, people say, hey, they're a black rock and roll band. Yeah, they're rock and roll and they're somewhat metal, but they're also funk and hip hop and pop. And there's all those tracks represented on this album.
Yeah, no, it's this is going to be a weird one for me today because I have a lot to say about this band in general, but it's a lot going on in this band. I wonder how you feel about the album as a whole, because I have a lot to say about it. It's weird with this band. Some might say this is one of the greatest rock bands that ever got their due. Some would say it's a one-hit wonder. There's a lot to be said about this band. There's nothing to take away from the talent. I feel it was a mismanaged band. I feel there was too much going on. I feel like there was too much going on with this album. There's a lot. I feel like the Cult of Personality is a flawless rock song. It's the greatest song ever. And I feel like, I don't know, I was listening to it today and I'd felt this way when I listened to it before, where, Ed Stasium was the producer and he did a lot of stuff with the Ramones, Motorhead and, Talking Heads. And so he's a great producer. I don't know. I just feel like there's no reason why this band should not be a household name. Like Agreed. This band should be a household name and they're not. For a lot of reasons. But I just feel, so I got a lot to say. I want to hear you kind of go through the tracks and we can kind of talk it, hash it out. But I just feel like this band breaks my heart because I feel it could have been one of the greatest rock bands of all time. And I feel like it just took a weird turn in either production or management or something. But I just feel like this is an interesting album because it's like you said, there's a lot of styles going on, but I wondered if that hurt them instead of helping them.
Well, let's start with the first track, which, unless you lived under a rock, there's no way no one's ever heard Cult of Personality. It's,
one best video.
It won best video in 1988. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, this was CM Punk's entrance music. This song achieved great commercial success. It has one of the most memorable opening riffs, or any riff. I'm going to use a term that you hate, Dustin, but it applies here. An insane, underrated guitar solo and an underrated guitarist in Vernon Reid. The guy.
I feel this song got its due. I feel this song definitely got its due because it was everywhere.
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe part of the problem is when you come out of the gate, they're strong. Maybe there's other really great tracks on this album. Yeah. But how do you follow up this? This is like their Freebird. This is their Stairway. I mean, this is by far the best track, and I've listened to for them for years. And I think that third album is excellent. Also, nothing comes close to Cult of Personality.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know, the reason I feel that it's a producer situation as well, where I feel like, they did a cover of Should I Stay or Should I Go Now? Like that, like they, so they were all over the place musically. So I feel like, it's a producer thing where I think they should have been pushed more towards songs like Cult of Personality. And I know there is a Freebird. Yeah, but Leonard Skinner has 10 other songs that are pretty much up to par. So I feel like this band does not have like a catalog like those bands you mentioned, like Stairway or whatever. I mean, Led Zeppelin has a whole bunch of other songs, where I feel this band kind of has this song that they kind of hold on to. And I'm sure there's more music that I personally would, the fact that you say the third album was good, I'll check it out. It's like I just couldn't get past, and I'm going to wait to talk about where I think the songs go wrong. Go ahead and do the track list, because I know where it happened. I know exactly what happened to this band, and I know what the song was, and I know where it took a turn. So go ahead.
Okay. I think the song that should have followed this out of the gate is the song Middleman. I thought Middleman is a good song. Is a great song, great bass line, little fusion of rock, funk, pop. Another one of these great crunching riffs. Corey sounds amazing. It's a great rock tune. I think if those two songs had come out of the box back 1 and 2, I think that would have been it may have caught on bigger, but instead they went, and this is a good song too. I like Open Letter to a Landlord.
I was just going to say, I loved it too when I was, 18 or whatever. But listening to it now, it's like, I feel like that was kind of that was a song that was like, when like good rock bands try to do a ballad or something. I feel like it's what ruined Guns N' Roses and stuff. It's like, they try to do something that's a little more broad.
It wasn't a straight up ballad though. I mean,
no, I didn't say it was. That's not what it's not what I said at all. I just meant like some bands where they do that, where they'll take a ballad. I feel like this song was not a ballad, but it was definitely kind of a slower, kind of momentum to what they were doing with Cult of Personality. It's kind of a more of a, maybe girls would like this song, even though it's not a love song. It's like a little, and it's a good song. It's lyrically, it's about, rent and not being able to, people taking your building down literally and living in the hood. And it's all that. And I get what it is. I just feel like it's, I don't know, like you said, it's just so hard to follow that song, but I feel like they could have tried. And I don't think, it's like, and it was also, it's also the 80s. So a lot of times people are trying to do what everybody else is doing. And, I think it's what hurt that song is good. It's got, once they stop doing the chorus, that song is fantastic. Once you get out of, you could tear a building down, once you get rid of that, drives me insane. But once they start jamming, it's fantastic. Yeah. And every song on this album, when they're not singing, like Cult of Personality is phenomenal. But besides that, it's like the other songs, I just really enjoy the jam riffs. And so, they should have been more of a Tool band, I think. They could have, the route they could have taken, or just straight up rock. But, but that song's okay. But, it's the fact that the producer produced Motorhead, and then he gave us, the Landlords. I don't know. I feel like they could have done way more with this band.
But, I think Vernon is such a he's such an incredible guitarist. He's technical, he's fast, he's entertaining. I mean, he really is a standout in this band. Another song that I like. I mean, good. We're gonna say Dustin.
I was just gonna let's bring in Adam on this. We need a third party. Adam Holtz, our producer, sidekick of the show.
How's it going?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Adam.
What's going on?
There he is, handsome devil. All right, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was going to say, it's great that you brought up Miles Davis to start the show, and I think Funny Vibe kind of falls kind of like in that Miles Davis, kind of type of music where it is free form. There's a lot improvised. You got a little hip hop in there. You got guest appearances by Chuck D and Flavor Flav, and it's a real anti-racism song. I think it's a song that's really ahead of its time. And again, man, anytime Vernon goes off, the song is instantly great. It's instantly listenable.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Adam? How do you feel about the band and the album?
Well, I think so. When so Vivid came out in '88, and that was I actually got it on cassette when I was 10, and really it was just Cult of Personality, and that was even still like I hadn't listened to the album since probably the late '80s, and that's all I can remember from that album was Cult of Personality. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed listening to it. I think
songs stand out.
Yeah, I think they were a band that was really, kind of in search of an identity.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
The ones that really stood out, Funny Vibe definitely stood out because it was more of the outlier on the album. The What Memories Can't Wait, the Talking Heads cover as well.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I know which song you're going to say that. So let's hold off on Dustin's song. Because that one bothered me also.
But can I throw one more good song in there from this album?
Please.
What'd you guys think of Desperate People?
I think did I remember that one? Give me the
I thought that was a
it.
great song also.
What's the harmony of it?
Yeah, Desperate People.
Yes, that's a good one. Okay. That was decent. Yeah.
I see. For me, if I'm gonna pick 4 songs that I love off the album, would have been Cult of Personality, Middleman, Funny Vibe, Desperate People. That's the order that, in fact, I wrote it out in. That like for me, that would have been the perfect side one. I do like Open Letter to a Landlord and Memories Can't Wait. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's a weird arrangement from the original, but not bad. Dustin, I think it's the song that you hate is The Connection. Because I used to have to see this band on this tour every night. They were the opening act. Yeah, and I worked on. They were the opening act on that on a bunch of shows, and in fact, every time what I would do is I would be with the band and we'd be driving in like a golf cart, and before they would get on the stage, I walked with Corey, and before he would go on, I would go, politics, man, politics, and we shook hands and they go out and they do their thing, and they were great, and they were playing like stadiums.
Yeah, they were good. I saw them at the Cotton Bowl with the Stones on that tour. And yeah, they were phenomenal, but I don't remember anything but Cult of Personality. That's the only song I remember because everybody went crazy when they played that song. And then it was kind of like it petered out. But yeah, I mean, it's, I'm curious if anybody, I don't know if anybody's out there in the Twitch land, but I'm curious if anybody if you know this band, give us a shout out. And if you have a Living Color song that's a favorite song that's not Cult of Personality, could you please let us know what song that would be? And how do you feel about what we're saying? Do you feel like this band had too much going on, or we're curious? We'd love some feedback from anybody that's out there in Twitch land. But yeah, it's should we go ahead and get to the song? Or are you going to
yeah, I'm going to let you take that one.
Well, actually, I got one more thing on here.
Sure.
I think one of the places where they went wrong was following Cult of Personality with I Want to Know, which just seemed like such a hokey song after such a fiery, Cult of Personality is one of the greatest hard rock openers ever.
It is. And I mean, it had I was 18 or whatever. So it had a lot to do with kind of just my mindset and, and then you have the JFK quote and the thing. Yeah. You're just like, and it's just like, it's a perfect rock song. It really is. I think it's top 100. It's fantastic, but it's just, yeah, it is. It is hard to follow. And sometimes, it's like, and it's weird how it's like, I don't know if it makes a difference on an album. Maybe it did back then. I don't know. I think as far as placement, it was like last week we talked about Joan Jett or week before, whatever. But Joan Jett's, I Love Rock and Roll was the first song, and that was her biggest hit. And so it's, it's kind of it's a weird thing because you want people to kind of get hooked into your band early. You don't, 'cause sometimes I listen to music and you got to get, it's 6 songs in, then you're like, oh, that's a good song. Yeah. So maybe it was a marketing, like that. And then they had, let's just talk about it. Glamour Boys.
Yep.
It was this song
produced
that
by
was
Mick Jagger.
Was it really?
Wow.
Yeah,
And that's the connection for them to be on the tour.
Yeah, Mick Jagger's fantastic, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. And I feel like there's a sense of humor about this song that was making fun. And it was their attempt at humor. And so it really was. They were making fun of probably, guys in Staten Island and
that's
Pretty Boys.
Yes, I agree with that.
Pretty Boys and like tight jeans and the Jordache jeans with the collars popped up. And, it's like there was this thing of, this type of guy, this jock, this, kind of like cool guy wannabe or whatever.
As you're singing about it in body glove outfit.
Yeah, I rock driving
with a pack of grapes in your pants. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's like it's like this guy. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate a band, kind of going after the humor and stuff. But when you establish yourself like with such a strong kind of political message and a hard rock vibe with cult of personality, so sometimes it's what happened. Oh, Jay, I think your thing's on. So it's hard to kind of like, kind of tap into that song. And the video ruined the song because they would not stop playing the video. And the video was the most ridiculous thing ever because it had them with these big like mask on. And so all I remember is these big plastic masks, and they were trying to be like, Ken dolls or something. And they were walking around, and it just, they played it on the hour. And so it was just like, it was just driving me insane. And, and so it was like one of those things where it's just like, I felt like, I don't know, it took the rock out of them. And then the fact they try to sue Living Color and like the TV show In Living Color. And like, there was a lot going on. And it just felt their rock and roll kind of like it's separated from them. And I think that's why, like, sometimes it's like Lemmy from Motorhead. He never separated from his rock and roll. Like he was this icon, Ozzy even, with some of his ballads, I whatever, but they were still great songs. Whereas this is one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. And it was on a great album, but it's just so bad. And they're trying to be funny, but I don't know they're trying to be funny when I'm 18 and I'm like putting a cassette in my Suzuki Samurai and with my long hair, and I just want to rock out. I don't want humor right now. That's what Kinnison's for. I'm just like, I want to separate my rock from my whatever. So anyway, I just feel like this song is really cheesy. It's meant to be funny, but I feel it ruined the band. I felt a lot of my friends, we were like, what happened to this band? Like we just checked out after Glamour Boys. I feel
you didn't like the chorus?
Everything. I hate the chorus. It's the worst part. It's so bad. And the fierce part. Ugh, they brought us that word.
Fierce.
They made it. They brought that word to our vocabulary.
Hey, Dustin,
like I blame them.
Dustin, I ain't no glamour boy. I'm fierce.
It's so it's just weird, man.
You didn't think that was cool? That was cool.
No, it wasn't cool. It was just like, it was weird, man. And I really felt like this band, think if Rick Rubin had produced this album.
He wouldn't put that in
just
there.
think about how amazing this album would have been. You know what I mean? Like a guy like that, just stepping in and seeing what you're good at and knowing that you're good at everything. Because that's the problem with this band. They're almost too talented because they can do funk. They can do jazz. They can do rock. They can do punk. They can do metal. They can do everything. But it's sometimes just because you're good at a lot of stuff. I mean, Prince suffered the same problem. There's a lot of weird Prince albums where you're like, it's kind of hard to listen to. It's genius in some ways, but not every Prince album is easy to listen to because there's so much talent going on that it's not zeroed in. Whereas Purple Rain is kind of zeroed in, or there's 1999 and whatever. There's certain albums that were it's like the chaos of the genius is kind of channeled in.
I think
we have anybody from Twitchland?
Yeah, I think that is the problem with the band, because I think you're right. I think it has to do with marketing of the band. They are all over the place, because the song that got you pulled into the band was Cult of Personality, and you want to hear more songs like Cult of Personality.
Yes.
And then you're going to put in a funny vibe, and you're going to put in Glamour Boys. You're going to put in, it's too much genre. Stick to either you're going to be a heavy rock band, you're going to be a funk band, you could be a band like Fishbone. You could be like that, which is fine too. But if you But I was gonna say, if your lane at the beginning is being a hard rock, heavy metal band, there probably should have been more songs like that. I think that's hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, I mean, do what got you there, man. It's like I don't like Guns N' Roses after Appetite for Destruction. Like that's they break my heart with all that crap with coattails and tuxedos and pianos. I'm like, just do what you did, man. Put on the bandana and rock. And so
play some Rocket Queen.
Right. Exactly. And so it's just a weird thing. It's a weird song. Adam, how do you feel about this? What's going on?
I mean, I'm just, even following up Glamour Boys with What's Your Favorite Color, that theme song that they have there, which was, according to Vernon Reid, it was a tongue-in-cheek song, but
I blame producing, and I blame people just, not kind of channeling it. And but Cult Personality is, if you're gonna have a song, I don't have a song like that. I didn't write a song like that, and I didn't play a song like that, and it still holds up, man. That's the kind of song you listen to 5 times, on repeat when you're walking down the street. It just really ramps you up. It holds up. They could have released that today, and it would still sound just as good. And so it's and it's a theme song for a lot of us, that are kind of anti-establishment and everything that's happening. And so it's perfect for now, I'll tell you that. And, but it's just weird. I think it's hard to follow, it's like as comedians, sometimes like a thing that'll happen sometimes, like on a show or something, like you do a joke that's maybe you play with the crowd and they go crazy or something, and then you can't follow the rest of your act. And so I know what that means. I'm not at this level of this band or anything, but I know what it means, where you just like, you throw something out there that you can't follow yourself sometimes. And so, it's just a weird thing.
I think another reason why this band isn't a household name is, their second album wasn't as strong. And then I think people started to lose a little bit of interest. But if you check out the third album, Stained, they had a song on it called Leave It Alone, which is almost Cult of Personality light. It's not as great, but it is a fucking kick-ass, great rock song.
Okay, I'll check it out. See, like I said, I checked out. I haven't listened to Cult of Personality since the Glamour Boys video. So this was listening to it this week was the first time I've listened to it since '88. So I totally checked out this band.
Video though, I forgot about the video for Glamour Boys.
Oh, it was horrible. It just haunts me in my sleep. It's just horrible. I just had a hard time letting go of that. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Some bands they like when a band makes a Christmas album. Sometimes it ruins their career. Like sometimes when you do a song trying to be fun, tongue in cheek, just they could have been like a Fishbone band. Did you say that? Did you say Fishbone? Or did you say me like Fish? Yeah, Fishbone.
No, Fishbone. I hate fish.
I know. That's why I said Fishbone. Fishbone's great. Yeah, they could have been something like that as well. And and I'm going to go down the wormhole. I'm gonna seek out their other music. I'm not going to just leave it at Glamour Boys. Like I'm gonna see what else is out there. The third album, I trust you on that. I'll definitely check out the Stained song and different stuff. But yeah, I'm sure there's more out there. Does anybody have any comments out there or no? They're like, what are you guys old guys talking about?
Yeah, I mean, everybody just talks about Cult of Personality.
Okay.
And everybody's just like, yeah, Cult is the best. And it's
that's groundbreaking comments that we get. Yeah. Oh,
don't diss on our 12 viewers. All right, Jeff. We need to keep them. Ask them.
Here's somebody who says they had one song for the album, the rest is filler. So it's
not true. Not true.
Well, I agree with them. Fair and a regular music person, Jeff. You're not a regular music person. You've been around music a long time. If you're just a regular person that's just listening to something on Spotify or whatever before that, buying music, yeah, it is fair. If you're a music guy, then you get the genius, of Vernon Reid and all that. But if you're not a music guy, it's easy to miss all that because you just want to hit like Colt. It's,
put on Middleman, put on Desperate People. They're both blazing great.
Well,
rock
you're
songs.
the only guy that thinks that because you saw them live and stuff, and you're friendly with them. But nobody else thinks that way, but you.
Oh, listen to it. You tell me.
I will listen to it, but I listened to it. I owned the cassette as well. But
Did you recommend this album?
I mean, I recommend it in a sense that it's it's the music is amazing. It's just put together wrong. But yeah, I recommend it. I recommend people knowing who this band is for sure. Yeah, I recommend the album. I recommend you making that choice for yourself, but skip over Glamour Boys. Don't even try. Don't even give it a second. Like just go, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Just like have the courage to skip over that one.
I think with Glamour Boys, they were trying to get like a radio friendly.
Yes, song. And that ruins music. That ruins bands every time when they try to get a friendly radio audience. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Motorhead never did that. They never played Motorhead on the radio.
Never did. Maiden never did it.
Nobody. It's like you can do it without that. You don't. You're messing up your fan base when you do that. But but it was cool. I did see them, when they opened for Rolling Stones, and that was very exciting because I was more excited to see them actually because my dad went with my dad and he was more into the Stones obviously, and I was just like a young kid and I was like, this band, and then like I said, I think they opened with Cult and they had a hard time. They should have closed with it, and I think they opened with it, and it was like one of those just like the album, they opened with it and couldn't follow it.
Adam, you ever see Living Colour?
No, I never saw them.
Come on.
I know they've been touring again too, or at least a year or so ago they were back out there touring.
Yeah, they were playing small places. They're playing that place that you played, Dustin. City Winery.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's a great place. Yeah, I would see them, and I'm gonna be so crazy for concerts when this is over. When we can actually go see stuff, I'm going to see everybody, even bands I don't like. Yeah. I'm just there's a concert, I'm going. It's like, somebody's playing live, I'm there. I don't care. You can be the shittiest band ever. I'm going to be there. I'm going to buy a ticket and I'm going to support live music when this is over for sure. I've been jonesing. That was my thing. I would go to bands I didn't even know who they were when I'm on the road. I'd be like, I don't know who this is. And I go in and listen, whatever. So it's like, I really miss that so much, and there's a lot of good jazz clubs in New York and Smalls and some of these places that are great. And that, obviously we can't do that as much, but I would love to see them live.
I do the same thing. I was in Connecticut right before the pandemic in October, and again, I was doing like a Friday and Saturday, and there was nothing. I was like, let's see, I don't have to really be home for anything. So for Sunday, Sunday night there was a concert. There was Hootie and the Blowfish and Bare Naked Ladies. I was like, fuck it, I'll stay in Connecticut until Monday, make the whole weekend out of it, and we went to go see Hootie and Bare Naked Ladies. And much better show than I thought it was going to be. Was
he in it?
Yeah. Darius is in it. And they opened up with my favorite song by them, Anna Lee.
So he was doing his solo stuff and the band stuff? Like he was touring with both?
He did Wagon Wheel. Cool. They were so much better than I thought they were going to be. So much better.
I remember one time I was in, I think this is one of my last things I was in. I forget it was Boston or somewhere. I think it was Boston. I was there for the festival and stuff. And so it was kind of like I did a show and I was walking around and there was like a House of Blues. And, I figured, they had some band. The line was around the corner. And the kids were young, though. They were young. And I was like, but maybe it's like a young kind of, like a Gary Clark Jr. kind of thing. Like, you're thinking, I don't know who the band is. I look at the name. I can't even tell you what the name of the band was. And I was like, okay, but they got to be playing a guitar. It's got to be some blues. It's a House of Blues. And so I get a ticket and people are like scalping tickets. Like, it's really hard to get into. So I go in there. And look around and everybody's like 22. And I'm like, okay, this is all right. Not what I expected for a blues audience. And then the show starts and it's two guys with Macs. And
oh, God.
And they're just like pushing their, Mac buttons and people go bananas, like it was they had like, visuals and like it was a rave thing or whatever. And it was fun. but it was, it's not what I expected at all. And it was just like, and then I was the oldest guy there, and nobody wants to be that guy,
No.
It's like I had earplugs in my pocket. I was ready. Like, you don't want to be the guy that's, so I was looking around. People just thought my kids were here. And so it was definitely fun. I'd never seen one of those where the kids just pushing the buttons, but whatever. So you got to take a risk. You never know what you're going to get.
Well, yeah, it's very true. I remember one time I was in Memphis. This is years and years ago, Dustin. Okay. I'm in Memphis. I'm a young guy. And I'm with who's my wife now. And, at the time we're just dating, and we stop into this place to grab some beers and some chicken wings. And they're really spicy. And we're having a great time with drinking beer and a band goes on. And the guitar player was, and I had told you this once before, and I couldn't believe you knew who the guy was. Mason Ruffner.
Oh, nice.
And he is such a great guitarist. And then I think maybe a year and a half later, I wind up getting a job at CBS Records, and guess who's getting signed is Mason Ruffner.
Oh, that's so cool. Did you tell him you saw him?
I never got the chance to meet him when he was recording. I think he recorded the album down in Nashville, and I worked at Black Rock on 52nd Street. What I used to do was I used to deal with I was like the go-between between our financial department and the artists. So I dealt with a lot with the music. I was like always on the set of Saturday Night Live and Letterman, because a lot of those guys who played in the band, they played on other people's albums. So for a young guy, I'm talking like I'm maybe 22 years old. I had the power to I can make sure you get paid next week, or I can bury your invoices and make sure you get paid in 6 weeks.
I like it. The money man. Hey, Adam, can we ask, I would be curious of our viewers, who's your favorite band that you saw live? Like, what's one of your best concerts out there to the Twitch people? If anybody, what's one of your favorite concerts that you saw live, or who do you continually see live that you love? Just curious what kind of live band stuff you guys are into. And anybody, come on, help us out here. Help us out with the flow of the show.
Well, let's see. Jay Dies a lot says Weezer and Tenacious D.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you should listen to our episode about Weezer.
Yeah.
We talked about Pinkerton.
Weezer, that's cool. Yeah, we did. That was a fun one. And Tenacious D, I would love to see that. I would love to see Tenacious D. That's a combination of very talented guys that can kind of they can work in the humor thing, and it works because they're great, man. They're really talented. I don't know, Adam, how do you feel about them? Are you into
Tenacious D?
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with them.
It's Jack Black.
But I haven't really heard any of their stuff.
It's good.
They've always been on my list. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Check out their album. It's pretty good. Yeah. I don't know if I'm sure they have a few, but one of them I remember being pretty good. It's like he's got a great rock voice. It's like Jack Black. Like you don't think it because he's such a a character actor and stuff, and but he's got a really good rock voice.
Did you ever hear him do More Than Words? Him and Jimmy Fallon.
I think so. Yeah. I might have saw that clip.
YouTube it, man.
Yeah.
They recreate the video and he sings it. It's not like
he's a good singer. He's a really good singer.
Holy shit. Yeah. I'm not a huge Jack Black fan, but his singing voice is pretty much undeniable. It is a good voice.
Yeah, he's like a John Belushi, man. He can just kind of do everything, but he's definitely, one of those guys. But he loves metal, and they just kind of made this band, I think, to be funny, and they were actually pretty talented.
So we got
anything else?
Yeah, we got Alice in Chains is another one here.
There's Jeff's stuff. You like Alice in Chains, don't you?
I do like Alice in Chains, man. Wood is like one of my favorite.
Have you seen them live?
I never saw them.
Anybody live? What? And then that's one of their favorite bands to see live. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I never saw them, but I never saw Aerosmith.
I don't think I saw it.
Wu-Tang's another one. Yeah,
I saw them. I saw them with Rage Against the Machine.
Nice.
The show that was working. That was nuts.
That's a great show. I saw Rage was great. I saw that they were at MetLife. I think I saw them. It was Beastie Boys, Rage, and Bad Religion. That was a kick-ass show.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow. There wasn't one man. There wasn't one dude at that concert wearing a shirt. Like, just tats and nipples waiting to fight. Like it was just like, I mean, I'd never been around that ever. Like I've been in mosh pits, I've been to CBGBs, I've been, crazy, but to see that many dudes like that just revved up, like it was intense. Testosterone to another level. Like I'd never seen it. It was pretty great actually. But
we have Michael Hugo here says that was a killer show and Rage was phenomenal.
Oh, you saw that show? That's my buddy Michael. Yeah, that was that was a great show. Yeah. Ask him if he's Mike, did you see him in Utah?
Let's see what else we got.
Okay, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
He's a little ADD. He probably he's on Pornhub right now.
Right.
He left he left the show. We appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for tuning in again. He was here for the Prince episode. But go ahead. Anything else?
Yeah. Let's see. Mad Dabbin says Backstreet Boys. And he's specific for real with that, but who knows?
Don't shit on the Backstreet Boys, man. Don't shit on the Backstreet Boys. I like them.
What's the band, the boy band with Mark Wahlberg's brother? What's that one?
New Kids Funky Brunch?
No.
New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block.
Yes, New Kids.
I remember I was I was 18, 17, whatever, and I had a girlfriend and her sister. We took her to the concert, and it was like, oh my God, it was phenomenal. Like I'd never heard little girl screams like that in my life. I mean, it must have been what the Beatles was like. I mean, these girls were just going crazy for this band. And it was just like, and all these dads were just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. Just like, but
they played Giant Stadium.
Crazy. Yeah, they were huge. Yeah. That was Timberlake, right? No.
Timberlake is In Sync.
In Sync. Yeah, I mix up my boy bands, even though I still dress like a boy band guy. I forget which boy band is which. Which
you're definitely AJ in In Sync.
Oh, I'm the edgy guy. Yeah. I'm always the edgy guy.
You're the guy. You're the motorcycle guy in a moped band. You know
what? I locked into that in 12th grade. That's what you do.
Like Dustin would be in the boy band, but he had like the chain coming out of his jeans.
I'd be the guy that gets arrested at some point. I bring the whole band down with me. That's all.
A couple of the dads and the brother go, hey, that guy's not that bad. I can dig him.
Anything else from the Twitch guys? Any favorite concerts, favorite concert moments?
No, just Mad Dabbin says that Backstreet Boys, they dance good. So there we go.
Yeah, but are they phenomenal dancers?
Right.
Because Jeff is a phenomenal dancer. Is that your moves? Oh, is that good? You're gonna have to do the robot.
Do shoulders.
Do the robot. I don't do shoulders. I did pop and lock.
I'm popping now. I'm popping.
Yeah, it's hard to pop on a screen. There's not a lot of, you can't see the arms. Yeah, those of you that don't know, Jeff said he was a phenomenal dancer. So we're going to have a dance off one of these days.
Yeah, so as soon as I get over this bronchitis, I will.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. It's going to be sponsored by Ben Gay and CBD oil. But we're going to have a dance off. And a leave pain medicine. It's going to be popping of leaves and as we lock and pop. As we lock and pop.
We got we got a couple more. We got the Eagles, and we also have the Joshua Tree Tour.
Oh wow. Okay. That's cool.
I saw both.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The Eagles was one of those shows I worked. It was, that was a great tour.
What year was this?
Oh my God. It's had to be in the early 90s. This had to be after Hell Freezes Over. And then they came out with a tour, and believe the opening act on it. I mean, everything is a blur sometimes. I'm pretty sure the opening act was Counting Crows. Okay. I think I could be blending it with the Stones tour as well. But I remember working, and this is the thing that was great about the Eagles. You didn't earn your money. It was the easiest gig you ever got, especially if you were because I was in charge of the pit. and nobody was ever getting out of their seats, or there was nothing that you had to worry about. In fact, I would work with their management, and basically they would just wanted our guys to just kind of like sit there and watch the show and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have middle-aged audience members, it's there's not a lot of, I go to concerts like AC/DC's like that. You go to AC/DC concert and it's like you could leave your jacket on the seat and then come back, and it's
right.
There's a lot of divorced dads with their kid, so trying to, but it's
Joshua Tree. I saw they just toured on that album recently, and I went with Alan Fuchs. Another very funny comic. Alan and I went to go see that, and I gotta tell you, that was a show that I thought was much better than I thought it was gonna be. Much better.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good band. I feel like I enjoyed U2 as a kid. I kind of grew out of them a little bit. I didn't like that whole Apple thing that they did, like they forced their music on. I was like, really? We have to listen to this now? It's like, yeah, that's another. That was a bad PR move. I don't know who thought that was going to be a good idea. That's a dumb idea. Because nobody. That's the thing with rock and roll. Nobody wants it pushed on us. But I saw the Rattle and Hum. That was a tour I saw, and that was a pretty good tour. I was with BB King. I was there.
Oh, wow.
I was there in Fort Worth. I believe that's where that footage is from, and we were there. You can't see us, but we're all there.
I saw you.
There's a guy with a crutch, and I'm like right behind him.
You were dancing.
I was dancing because I'm a phenomenal dancer. But U2 was one of those bands that, like, I've talked about them before, where I feel like they were just a great band and got a little overplayed in my opinion. But especially Joshua Tree. But they can't help it that people love that song, love that music so much. I was watching a Bee Gees documentary, and I felt like the Bee Gees had the same problems. The Bee Gees had the same problem where it's just like they kind of got overplayed, and it's just like sometimes when a culture is kind of into what you're doing, and it's like, I'm sure it's, as an artist, you can't control that. It's a beautiful thing because you're getting paid, you're getting the music out there, but I think U2 is kind of the same problem. They just played that album over and over, and now every time I go to Rite Aid they play it. And that's it's still.
I got a question for the two of you. What was a concert that either one of you saw that you wouldn't think that Dustin or Adam went to that show? Like,
who are you talking to? Us? Or you talking to the Twitch people?
I'm asking you, Dustin. I'm asking you, Adam. What was a show that you guys saw that if you gave me 10 guesses, I'm never going to guess that you saw this band?
Oof. Well, what was that? What did I say?
New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block.
That was the one. I mean, I can't really top that one. That was probably the one. Oh, I could think of one that you'll never guess. What am I supposed to do? Tell you or give you hints?
Yeah, tell us. No, I'm not going to guess, but I can't guess.
Kenny Loggins. I saw Kenny Loggins concert. Right? Nobody worry about me. Danger zone. Those are two big hits for that dude. He kind of nailed the 80s movies soundtracks. I think but it's the first time I saw a stand-up comedian. We won tickets, I think. My mom won tickets in Texas, KVIL. It was a big pop station. And Kenny Loggins tickets, and me and my brother went, and I think we might have had 3 tickets, somebody else. And Mario Joyner was the comedian.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I remember Mario Joyner.
He was a big MTV comedian guy at the time.
Yeah.
And,
he opened the show.
Rock. He opened the show. It was the first time I'd ever seen a comedian.
That's weird.
It was like, it was just, that happens it didn't happen a lot, but
I only saw it once.
I've seen it a few times. I've been the comedian. I opened for lots of bands, but, I feel like it happens sometimes. Back in the day, that's how they always did it, like Vegas and stuff,
I remember one time a band opened for you, a big like 50s band opened for you in a high school gym.
Top worst gigs all time. It was like this Jeffrey Paul production. He calls me up and says, I got this gig and I'm a whore. I'll do anything for $200. And so it's like,
I like how you still remember.
Oh yeah. It was like, it was fun. It was just hilarious because of like, and it's like, here's the thing with comedy and music. It rarely works. I think I told the story where I played Rancid, like open for like this is like a festival thing, and we had to follow them. And then in the middle of it, not only did we have to follow Rancid, then Rancid said they had free pizza in their tent, and it was like and then all the kids just ran off. But the thing is with music, it's like, comics should never follow music. It should always be comedian and then music, because it never works. It's like we have a very hard time with it. But yeah, that gig was bad. It was a doo-wop band. We had to follow a doo-wop band.
That's
right. It was like a very you could tell it was like everybody knew them. So it was kind of like this Staten Island family love. And they were like, yeah, it's like Jeff is, Tony's still up there playing drums. And so it was like, it's like all this love support. And then you had the worst lineup ever. It was like me, and I was just not meant for this crowd. And it was like Gino Visconti, Kevin Dabrowski. And it was like they hated all of us. We all bombed. It was just like this worst thing. And here's the deal. You had two choices. You could either get on the stage, which was, it felt like 50 feet tall. Like it was just like, like a high school stage in an auditorium is always way too tall to do comedy. I've done a few and it never goes right. Or you could just be on the basketball court and just like talking to the crowd, like literally right at their table. So that was the two choices. And we chose to be on the basketball court, and it was a bad idea. And this old lady was like plugging her ears, and it was just like, oh, it was good times. But what I wouldn't do to have that gig right now. I would love that. I would kill for that gig. All right, Adam, take us out. Take us out, buddy.
All right. Let's see. We got a bunch of reissues coming up on Friday, and I got one for Jeff here, and it ties into the new season of Cobra Kai because it's because D. Snyder made an appearance there. Twisted Sister, Come Out and Play, 35th anniversary vinyl.
Okay, all right. Come Out and Play. Is that the one that the Warriors? The Warriors opening of the Warriors?
Yeah, the Warriors.
Oh my God,
start.
That's a bad album. That's on Cobra Kai. Is it really?
No, D. Snyder was.
They go see D. Snyder.
D. Snyder, yeah.
Oh, D. Snyder's on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny goes to a D. Snyder concert.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Oh, that's hilarious. I love Twisted Sister. When I was in 8th grade, that's my entire wall was covered with Twisted Sisters. Nice. Also, I loved Twisted. And then Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And I remember this. Can't Stop Rock and Roll is fantastic. And then I love Stay Hungry. And then I remember I'd gotten in trouble. I had to go to like a, like one of those when you skip school or whatever, they send you to a detention school. They're like a school though. Like it's like where all the other detention kids are, not like a Saturday, like for a week. And so I just say it was a whole big deal. I think I got caught with a 6-pack in the parking lot. It was a whole thing. And so, so it's a really low point. So my mom picks me up, and I remember she bought me that CD, the Come Out and Play or whatever, and she put it in, and I was like, what is this? It was like like doo-wop stuff on there and stuff, because he's a big doo-wop guy, right? Like he loves kind of 50s music.
The single was Leader of the Pack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, like that's what I mean. Doo-wop, whatever that is.
Sucked.
Yeah. Leader of the Pack.
Don't do that. And the video on that was also really cheesy. Ugh.
Yeah. That's another band that's like, they made so much money on Stay Hungry, so I don't really know I can't say much about them, but I really wish they had taken more of a, kind of no makeup vibe to their rock, but whatever. They were great.
They took the Motley Crue approach. They were neck and neck with Motley Crue.
Yeah, I think they should have took more of a Motorhead vibe. They opened for Motorhead too. And England.
Love Motorhead.
There's a kind of the rock of rock. Like you can base a lot off of Motorhead because they did it right. They never cheesed out. They never changed their sound to adapt. They just fucking were. They were punk rock, man. They're like, I don't know. I just think there's something great about them. There's not a bad Motorhead song. They did some weird covers too, Louie, but that's actually that's kind of fun. But anyway, anything else, Adam? Sorry.
We got Stone Temple Pilots, Purple from '94.
Oh, what an album! What an album!
I mean, you got Vaseline, favorite. You got Interstate Love Song, you got Big Empty.
Out of all that grunge stuff, because I missed it, because I was in South America being a missionary, so I come back in like '93, and all this shit was happening, and that's the only band I really like. Really like is Stone Temple Pilots. I love his voice. I love Velvet Revolver as well, just because of him. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean those first 3 albums were fantastic from
SDP. Such a good band. Yeah, that's mine. Like at Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Genius, blah blah blah. But I really like Stone Temple. That's the band I'll listen to more. I'll respect those other bands. But Stone Temple, I listen to that shit over and over.
Agreed. Great band. Very underrated.
Yeah.
They did okay for themselves. They bought enough heroin for a lifetime.
When people talk about that genre, they're never like one of the top 5 bands that you really bring up. It's always like Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Alice in Chains, because they're West Coast bands. But I mean, Stone Temple Pilots out of New Jersey, and they got the sound down. And Wyland was a phenomenal.
They were sexy. They were sexy too. It's like girls liked them. Like it was, yeah. They're anytime thing's a little broader, but
girls liked Eddie Vedder.
Did they? I don't know.
Yeah, of course they did. He was cute.
Was he?
You said in the 90s, I had
Jeff is a weird guy. Jeff is a weird guy. He's a weird guy. You don't see it coming. You don't see. Oh, I do. I do. I'm getting an idea. Every week I get more and more of an idea. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, we got let's see, we got the Superfly soundtrack, Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis Mayfield is my jam. I have Shaft. I love all that kind of music, man. I love it. Curtis Mayfield's great. If you've seen that, there's a series on HBO. I don't know if it's still on. 42nd. What's it called? Deuce.
No, it's not. It's not on anymore.
Oh, it's not? Okay. It was a fantastic show. I hate it that it's not on. It was really good. They depicted the 70s in New York. Like, it was great.
Dude, they brought me in to audition for a reoccurring role.
Wow.
Yeah. And then of course they canceled the show.
That's life, baby. And then COVID happens. But the music, the theme song is Curtis Mayfield on that. Anyway, I went down a Curtis Mayfield thing, and there's a lot of great Curtis Mayfield records that everybody should get. There's one with JJ Walker where he plays a boxer who's like the mob wants him to take a hit and take a hit in the fight or whatever. And so he does a whole soundtrack. I don't know the name of it, but I own it. So anyway, get some Curtis Mayfield. All right, is that it? We got more? We're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, we got a new one from Jeff Tweedy, a new solo album of his, Love is the King, which is...
Who's Jeff Tweedy? Should I know him?
Yeah, he's the front man for Wilco.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
still don't know.
We're going to pass on Wilco.
Part of this show is pretending we know things.
Wilco's fantastic, though.
No, I don't like Wilco. I don't like
Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Yeah, they're amazing.
They're not.
Talk to me. I want to get into them. What are they called? Loco? Like crazy?
Wilco.
Spanish?
Wilco.
How do you spell it?
Wilco.
How do you spell it?
Wilco.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to get into them. I trust you, Adam.
Yeah, check out.
Adam likes the Replacements. He's got to know something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love the Replacements. And
Adam, do you like the Lumineers?
No.
Good. All right, we can still be friends.
All right. But no, check out Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. That's one of their best.
Okay, cool. One last thing to the Twitch people: is there a band that we should be listening to that maybe we're not listening to? Is there a band that you love this band and we should check them out? We should Spotify them immediately or go to a record store and buy music like a real person should. Let us know before we end the show. We got started a little late, so we'll go a little late. I'm assuming there's no show behind us.
This is some channel that we're on.
Anybody? Ferris? Bueller?
We got nothing yet. Well,
nothing. No bands. All right. They checked out. They stopped listening to us. They're like, these old white guys. We're not listening to them anymore.
Let's go.
All right, everybody. Well, it's been a fun show. Get you some Vivid, Living Color, and you know what? Give it more of a chance than I gave it back in '88. You know, maybe Glamour Boys will be your song. Maybe I'm missing something there. And but Cold Personality is definitely a great one. And get you some Miles Davis. Kind of Blue is a great place to start with Miles Davis. And thank you guys. It was a fun show as always. And so yeah, hang in there, buy vinyl, support vinyl, and support music, and just be safe out there, guys. Wear a mask.
Take care, everyone.